Hello, Accounting 104. This is the week 7, the final preparation. This is the accumulation of basically 103 and 104. Just to warn you, I'm going to go through this very quickly. This is a 10-part question, so I'm not going to show you guys how I did it, but I am going to post my supporting documentation on the website so that you guys can see what happened. So, here is the question. Please read through it prior to watching this video. So go back, read this question. All right, I'm going to get started and hopefully make it through before my 15 minutes is up. All right, Zigbee Manufacturing. We're going to do 10 parts. First part is the sales budget. So the budgeted sales are going to be $20,500. Budgeted unit price is $23.85, and budgeted sales dollars is $488,925. May of 2019, 19,500. June of 2019, it is 20,000 units. So we have our first sales budget. Number 2, we're doing our production budget. So in the production budget, we already have our 19,000. Those right there. This first line, this is going to be budgeted ending inventory units. Here we have 15,600. Budgeted unit sales per month. That is 20,500. This is beginning inventory. That is negative 16,400. And then units to be produced is 19,700. So now we have our 16,000 rolls up to the top. Here we have 19,500. Negative 15,600. Then we have 19,900. Rolls up to the top. We have 20,000. This is our negative 16,000. Then we have 20,400. We have total production budget of 60,000 units. Here, our raw materials budget. Production budget. First, we're going to do our row labels. This one is materials requirement per unit. And then we have a budgeted ending inventory. Then we have our beginning inventory. All right. So production budget, 19,700, 19,900, 20,400. Our materials requirement per unit, 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. Budgeted ending inventory, 49.75, 5,100, 4,000. Beginning inventory, negative 49.25, negative 49.75, and negative 5,100. Just to warn you guys, you might have to go through and watch this a couple times to see where all this is coming from. Materials to be purchased, 9,900, 10,075, 9,100. All this information can be found in the question and then in the supporting documentation that I'll be posting. All right. So now we have our raw materials budget. Next up is the direct labor budget. So we're going to set up our columns again. This is labor requirement per unit, and then we have our direct labor per hour. So budgeted units, 19,700. See, we're getting consistent there. Labor requirements per unit, 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. Total labor hours needed, 98.50, 99.50, and 10,200. Direct labor per hour is $15 an hour. So now we have our direct labor budget. Next up is our factory overhead budget. So we're going to set up our columns again. We have our variable factory overhead rate, labor hours needed. This came from the previous budget we just worked on. So you can see each one kind of builds on each other. Here it's 2.7. This information can be found in the supporting information above. Budgeted fixed overhead. They're all $20,000. All right, we're making good progress. Selling expense budget. We're going to set up our rows again. This one is sales commission percent. And then at the bottom is sales salaries. And then total budgeted selling expenses. So budgeted sales, 488, 925, May is 465, 075, and June is 477,000. The percentage is 8. Sales commissions, we just take 8% times 488, which gives us 39,114. And then sales salaries, 3,000. Now we have our selling expense budget. Next up is going to be our general and admin budget. We're going to set up the rows again. So we have salaries. And then we're going to have interest on long-term notes. So salaries, $12,000 a month. Interest on long-term note is going to be $4,500 a month. All right, making good progress. Part 8, calculation of cash receipts from customers. So we have our total budgeted sales, cash sales, sales on credit, and then down below we have these items, and then down below that we're going to have our cash budget. So total budgeted sales, that came from a tab we worked on earlier. That's 488,925, 465,075, and 477,000. 30% of that is 146,677, 139, 522, and then 143,100. Sales on credit, 70% is going to be 342, 248, and it's calculated the other ones for us. Total cash receipts from customers, current month's cash sales is 146, 677 from up above, 139, 522, and 143, 100. Collection of receivables, we already did that. That's 342, 248, 342, 248, and then 325, 553. Alright, so now we're about ready to start on our cash budget. This is going to be where we start getting very much into the weeds on things. And a lot of this stuff would come from other schedules that we did earlier. First up, though, we're going to set up our columns. Let's see. We need our cash receipts from customers. And then cash payments for raw materials, direct labor, variable overhead, sales commissions, sales salaries. Some of these should look familiar. We should have had these earlier. General and admin, dividends, loan interest, long-term notes, purchase of equipment, and then down here under preliminary cash cash balance, we're going to have additional loan repayment. So, beginning cash balance. We're going to start off with $40,000. And then we have 488, 925. Raw materials is 20,500. 200,500, excuse me. Then we have 147,750. 26,595. 3914. 3,000. Now, if you were doing this in a company, all these things would be tied together. As you did the supplemental ones, it would roll over into this main budget. So our preliminary cash balance is 95, 346, and we have negative $12,000 here. And this should give us our ending cash balance of 83, 346, which rolls up here. So then we have cash receipts from customers of 481, 770. Raw materials is 198, 149, 250, 26, 865. Sales commissions 37, 206. Sales salaries 3,000. General and admin 12,000. Dividends this month of 10,000. Long-term note interest of 4,500. Preliminary cash balance 24, 295. All right. Start up at the top again. 124, 295. 468, 653, 201, 500, 153, 27, 540, 38, 160, 3,000, 12,000. No dividends this time. Long-term notes, 4,500 again. Purchases of equipment, this time we're doing 130,000. Preliminary cash balance is down to 23,248. And we had to do our additional loan payment, 16,752, because we had to get back to $40,000. So, we had our loan balance beginning here of 12,000. We paid that off in April. And then we borrowed some more. All right, required 9. I am not going to get through the income statement and the balance sheet, so we're going to have a second video where we will finish this up. See you in just a few minutes.